The Battle of Berlin was the final and most important battle of World War II in Europe. It took place from April 16th to May 2nd, 1945, and ended with the capture of Berlin, the capital of Nazi Germany, by the Soviet Army. By the spring of 1945, Germany was in a desperate situation. The Red Army had already reached the outskirts of Berlin. From the east, Soviet forces of the 1st Belarusian Front, led by Georgy Zhukov, and the 1st Ukrainian Front, commanded by Ivan Konev, were advancing toward the city. From the west, American, British, and French armies were also moving closer. Berlin was almost completely surrounded. On April 16, 1945, the Soviet offensive began. One of the fiercest battles took place at the Seelow Heights, which were the last major defensive line before Berlin. German troops resisted strongly, using fortifications, artillery, and remaining tank units. However, the Soviet army had a clear advantage in numbers and equipment, and the German defense was eventually broken. By the end of April, Soviet forces entered Berlin. Heavy street fighting began. Every street, building, and bridge became a battlefield. German forces included regular army units, SS troops, and the Volkssturm, a militia made up of elderly men and teenagers. Despite their determination, it was clear that Germany could no longer win the war. One of the most symbolic moments of the battle was the assault on the Reichstag, a building that represented Nazi power. The fighting there lasted several days. On the night of May 1st, 1945, Soviet soldiers raised the victory banner over the Reichstag. This moment became a powerful symbol of the defeat of Nazism. At the same time, the situation for the German leadership was hopeless. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. After his death, organized resistance quickly weakened. On May 2nd, 1945, the Berlin garrison officially surrendered, and the city was fully captured. The Battle of Berlin was one of the largest and bloodiest operations of the war. Millions of soldiers took part in the fighting, and thousands of tanks and aircraft were used. Casualties on both sides were extremely high. For the Soviet people, this victory marked the end of 4 years of suffering, sacrifice, and struggle. The capture of Berlin meant the practical end of the war in Europe. On May 8th to 9th, 1945, Germany signed the Act of Unconditional Surrender. The Battle of Berlin remains in history as a symbol of victory over Nazism and the final chapter of World War II in Europe.